Hi, I'm with Brendan Horan from the New Zealand Independent Coalition Party. Thanks, Brendan, for meeting with us.
No worries. Hi, everyone. Kia ora.
Cool. We've got 4 questions for you for the Papamau Facebook page, and then a fun question at the end.
Okay, big question. Now, do I look at the little weeny camera thing here, or do I look at you, Rosalie?
Well, if I
I'll just look at you.
Look at the little camera thingy.
I'll look at the camera thing.
Look, you look at me. Okay, question 1. What do you consider are the key social issues that people face, and how do you propose these be solved?
Well, look, it depends on the age, but we've got, of course, health, education, employment, identity, believe it or not. It's people really need to know who they are, and housing is a big one. And these are issues that continually come through my office. Look, the NZ Independent Coalition believe that housing and education should be affordable and accessible to all New Zealanders. Currently, that's not the case. So, obviously, we're going to fix that up. Employment, we need to have planned pathways to prosperity for New Zealanders. You know, we were told, and this is those of us that are a little bit older that are watching, we were sold that new technologies and robotics would mean that as a people we'd have a whole lot more time. But that hasn't happened because it's all been corporatised. Parties have come into government over the years with their philosophies, and they have sold our intellectual property. And you know, the DSIR used to be a taxpayer, was a taxpayer, New Zealand taxpayers. They cracked the code for iron ore, and yet that was given away to the Japanese and the Chinese. And if we look back to the forestry research, all the intellectual property there, how Wrightson's was sold, there went our seed technology. I mean, it's just amazing what we've lost. So what we have now is people working longer than ever. And we're on the cusp of a major industrial revolution with new technologies, with ultra-fast broadband. And so we're going to have thousands of jobs are going to be lost with these new technologies coming on board. For instance, very soon we're going to have quantum computing, wearable computing, predictable computing. That's happening on the other side of the world, where people are driving along and they get a text or a video pops up and says, hey, we notice you in our area, and we've got a pair of Levi's, and we see you haven't bought any Levi's for 2 years, but we've got your size, and we can have them drone delivered to you this afternoon at a very special price of X amount of dollars. You know, so the market is going to the consumer, but thousands of jobs can be created through that, because you still have to deliver and deploy all of these technologies and the marketing. When we look at places like Finland, when they used to do heavy machinery, and then the Chinese came and took that market, so they created a ministry that kept those workers in work but upskilled them and transferred their skills. So that's how Nokia came about, you see. So what we're saying is that we need to have a ministry of job creation. And so as industry falls over, we go in and we say, can we save this industry? If we can, we will. But if we can't, then we need to upskill those workers. So it's all about creating planned pathways. And it's quite amazing in Parliament, the time that I've been in there, seeing that there are no plans. So a lot of our focus this election is showing people the planned pathways that we have for New Zealanders.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Okay, question 2. Preserving our natural heritage versus utilising our environment to raise the standard of living. How can these two things be balanced so that future generations live in a clean, green New Zealand?
Look, I think it's our environment's important to all New Zealanders. I've been doing a lot of work with Regional Council, and I actually approached Chris Finlayson, also Minister of Primary Industries, Nathan Guy, also our Minister for the Environment, Amy Adams, and I tried to get funding to get a scientific team together so that we could clean up the Kaituna River.
Yes.
Now, the pollution in the Kaituna is really just the last 15k, and but it's extreme. And I had a scientific team ready to go. None of the government ministers were prepared to put any money towards that, and but it was nice. I was able to put Fonterra together with the regional council, and they've been doing some great work. But it's just a start. But we, if we work with the philosophy of Wairua, and we have clean rivers, lakes and streams, then we look after our water, and the water will look after us. And that is actually, people are our greatest asset in New Zealand, but our second greatest asset is our water, the fact that it's readily abundant. And so if we look after the water and we clean that up, then we're cleaning everything else up. And quite obviously we have to have sustainable solutions. And and what can I say, the environment's so important to me. I mean, I live in it, most Kiwis fish in it, drink it. And here in Tauranga in the Bay of Plenty, we live in one of the most beautiful spots in the world, and we've got to look after it.
Cool, thank you. Number 3 question, what is your vision for New Zealand?
My vision for New Zealand is planned pathways to prosperity for all. Look, last year 1,400 nurses graduated. At this point in time today, 600 of those nurses are still unemployed, many with debts ranging from $30,000 to $120,000. So how can we be in a society whereby we ladle our young people with that sort of debt and don't even have a job at the end of it? So what I want to see is that we have planned pathways, that we work towards zero fees for our students. When I went to university, I didn't have to pay any money to go to university. You got either an A bursary or a B bursary, and so you got there on excellence. Also, I want to get back to planned trade training, so you have so many apprenticeships available, and get them back into the workforce, and have the focus being on those apprentices and those businesses that are looking after those apprentices, really upskilling everyone. With the new technologies that are coming on board, we need to have a Ministry of Job Creation, and we also have to look at upskilling our children, young people, existing workforces and seniors. I'd like to see plans for 2020 so that our political parties and our government comes out and says, look, this is our economic plan. It's going to work in the absence of secrecy with long-term, short-term and mid-term goals. This is why we're making these sacrifices, and this is what we're going to get in return. At the moment, for most New Zealanders, it's just blind faith, and blind faith hasn't worked. It's got us to this predicament that we're in at the moment, where we have so many jobless people, and we have so many people leaving New Zealand. So with the New Zealand Independent Coalition, we're going to provide good leadership, and good leadership means people will stay.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. Question 4, what values around family and the community are important to you?
Well, to me personally, love, integrity, fun. My family, we do all of that. We do mistakes, and that's okay. That's how you learn and grow. We do community, caring for one another. If I go fishing, I always get fish for the neighbours, and it's about taking time and being able to smell the roses.
Yeah.
And also practicing what you preach. There's yourself. Where my office is situated, I always go next door and say hi, and we all help each other out, and that's what community is about. I think about our senior citizens, and again, 2020. At the moment, we've got 500,000 New Zealanders are over the age of 65,
right?
And that's over 15%. And by 2020, we'll have over 20% of New Zealanders will be over the age of 65. Now, it used to be you had that much tax going into this much societal need.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, with the low-wage economy, that's been inverted. So we have to have planned pathways. Our plan is to communitise, to have seniors adopt street programs, to adopt parks, to become involved life doesn't end at 65.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much knowledge there. And to have them mentoring young people as well. To have a university for our seniors, education for our seniors.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our seniors are here, and because of the pension situation, they're struggling on their pensions, but their grandchildren or children are going off and living in Australia or overseas, and we want all of those New Zealanders to come back here. And so the NZIC, or New Zealand Independent Coalition, has open transparent plans, and we want to bring all of those New Zealanders back, and we want everybody here to have a job in New Zealand, to aspire to be New Zealanders and to stay here and to make New Zealand great, and we can do it. We can do it. We've just got to have the plan outlaid.
Yep.
We've got that plan.
Thank you. Now we have one fun question to end with.
I thought all the questions were fun so far.
Okay, so this is a question that you've got 10 seconds to answer,
Yes.
and you need to come up with as many items as you can think of in this category in 10 seconds. You ready? Can you do that?
I'm sure I can.
Okay, so how many native birds of New Zealand can you name in 10 seconds starting now?
Okay, kiwi, kereru, kokaru, takahi, tui, pukeko, mohua, ruru, mopork, fantail, wax-eye.
Okay, that's 10 seconds. That was pretty good. Awesome. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you for talking with us.
How many did I get?
I lost count, but we'll add them up on the.
I had to have the kiwi first. At least I got that one right.
Thank you very much for your time, Brendan.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.